Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us for the Remote Chicago Small Business Expo. My name is Fahima Badri with the Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, otherwise known as BACP. Before we get started, I want to provide some information. This webinar offers closed captioning. To enable closed captioning, please click on the live transcript button on the bottom of your screen and choose your preferred method. We encourage attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box to send your questions. We will be having a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. And now we will start our next session, Brewing Up Success, a step-by-step guide to crafting your winning business plan, presented by Women's Business Development Center. And I pass on the mic.
Hello, everyone. My name is Soraya Hernandez, and I don't know if you guys can hear me because it's showing us on one screen that is unmuted, but
we can hear you.
Okay, beautiful. So my name is Soraya Hernandez. I serve as the director of the International Trade Center at the Women Business Development Center. And today we are going to go through all the key elements for developing a business plan that is tailored to your specific business. Next slide, please. So for those of you who might not be as familiar with the Women Business Development Center, we are part of the Small Business Development Center network, which operates under the umbrella of the Small Business Administration. What that means is that we provide services not just to women-owned businesses, but to all small and medium-sized enterprises that could benefit from our services, which could offer you access to connections in many different types of connections. We're going to get into that on the next slide. Access to capital, as well as access to contracts both in the government and the private sector. Next slide, please. So our services covered a vast array of areas. So they include strategic one-on-one and group business advising, specialized cohort-based programs and workshops, such as this one. This is typically the type of webinars and workshops and programming that we offer. Digital learning and support, private sector procurement opportunities, as well as public sector contracting assistance. We also provide advice and counseling and very thorough guidance on attaining the Women Business Enterprise certification, as well as the Minority Business Enterprise certification, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise certification, any type of certification that could give you, that are available and could offer you an added fuel to get your business on the right track, as well as financial education and debt and equity financing, which also includes direct lending. And we are also a Kiva micro-lending hub. Next slide, please. Now let's get into the agenda. So here is an overview of what we're going to be covering. Defining a business plan, understanding the importance of having a well-crafted business plan. And when we're going to be diving into each core component of a business plan, from the executive summary through marketing, sales, and financial projections. And we're going to be doing the learning by doing. So we're going to learn by doing, because as I'll illustrate, as I'll go through each of those components of a business plan, I'm going to illustrate those with the real world example of a client, the Main Street coffee shop in Seattle. Next slide, please. So what is a business plan? So a business plan is really a comprehensive strategic document that should clearly lay out your business goals, your audience, so your target market, your products or services offerings, your growth strategies, and financial forecasts. So it's really an essential tool for attracting investors, securing loans, and really driving your business success. So think of it as a blueprint for how you'll start, run, and grow your business. And a well-crafted plan really forces you to think critically about really every aspect of your business venture. It validates your assumptions. I mean, those ideas, you have an idea, you got an idea for a business, and you have to, and we're going to see how we do that. You have to gather information from the market and as to whether or not those assumptions that you have are true. And then that helps you map out that realistic path forward. So 3 key functions of a business plan are guiding strategy and growth, attracting investors and financing, and defining milestones and metrics. So the process really of creating this business plan, if we can move on to the next slide. Yeah, the process really of creating a business plan, I hope that after this workshop, you will agree is valuable in and of itself, because it's going to force you to research your industry, to understand your target customers, and really to validate whether those just target customers that you suspect are a fit for your product or solution are in reality those that you should be going after. And it helps you anticipate the potential challenges ahead. So as you map out that path forward, a business plan, a well-crafted business plan, should be that tool that helps you anticipate what bumps on the road you might encounter, so that you can be proactive rather than reactive. So the insights that you gain during this whole process are aimed at informing really every aspect of your venture, as it allows you to, as I hinted before, validate your idea, clearly define your unique value proposition. What is it? What is it unique and special and specific about your product and service that is going to resonate with your target audience, your potential target customers? And it's going to help you map out just realistic milestones so that you can plan ahead. And The reality is, and data shows this, and we see it at the center just about every day, well-planned ventures are much more likely to secure funding and to attain sustainable growth. So just think about it. I told you that a business plan before, it's like a blueprint, but it's really, it's also a map on that is going to help you get from where you are right now to where you want to be. So it's going to be really that roadmap that is going to guide just about every decision that you make and every adjustment that you make along the way. Next slide, please. So I told you at the beginning that I'm going to illustrate each business plan component with the example of Main Street Coffee Shop. And Main Street Coffee Shop is a gourmet coffee shop that was founded in 2019 in Seattle by an entrepreneur named John Wilson. And Main Street Coffee Shop specializes in gourmet coffee, pastries, sandwiches, so premium baked products, and quality ingredients. And I should also say, just top customer service are their main differentiator. John's passion for quality coffee and differentiated quality products is truly what guided his passion to start the business, his drive to start this business, because he saw that although Seattle is thought to be the coffee capital of the United States because Starbucks was born there, there was truly a white space, a void, offering tourists as well as Seattle residents in a particular area of Seattle, the experience of well-crafted coffee drinks that were fueled by top quality coffee beans. And I hope that you'll see that is evident throughout their business plan. Next slide, please. So a business plan, the first section of a business plan is actually the last section that it is crafted. And that is the executive summary. And the executive summary should concisely capture what is the essence of the business. And although it's written last, it is often the first section that investors and bankers look at to get that high-level overview of your products and services, your target market, your competitive advantages, and growth opportunities. So really is think of it as the panoramic view, and each component of the business plan is the snapshot of that panoramic view. So in the case of Main Street Coffee Shop, let me backtrack. I'm gonna wrap all this up as we go through each component with the Main Street Coffee Shop executive summary. So, but in essence, it should be a one-page overview of the business highlights. The opening paragraph should clearly describe the company, the products and services, and it should include the mission statement. So what is it that drives your business? Who runs the business and which roles each of those individuals play in the business. And then, of course, numbers. Financials have to be included to support the story. So I'm gonna give each of you homework in the way of action steps. So I'd like you to start thinking about, although this section is the last that you're gonna write, I'd like you to start thinking about the what, the why, the who, the how, the when, and how much of your business idea. There are great resources available to you through the SBA website. Could you please click on that link on the resources so that you will open up the SBA page? If you click on it, it should open right there. It's not opening?
Can you see it?
No, whoever is advancing the slides should be able to click on it and open it. Well, if it's not opening, that's fine. I trust we are gonna get this presentation deck to each one of you, and at the end, I'm gonna provide you all with my contact information, and because I know we don't have time for you right now to actually work on this action step, so I'm leaving this as homework for you. And then I'm going to encourage you to find time on my calendar so that together we can go over your own business plan, and then I can guide you to my colleagues here at the Women Business Development Center to help you actually bring your business plan into reality. Next slide, please. So I told the first two sections of the first two elements, components of your business plan that come after the executive summary are, so the snapshots that I was telling you about are the company overview and the organization and management team. But let's go over the company overview first. So in the case of Main Street Coffee Shop, as you see, it provides details on the company's history, the inspiration behind the idea, and the purpose that it serves. And as you see, Main Street Coffee Shop, for Main Street Coffee Shop, it mentions that it has a single location, that it was structured as an LLC in Washington state. So your action steps, your homework is think about what was that aha moment that inspired your idea. So we like to call it your origin story. What is that origin idea? What is it that, what need you have seen, or problem you have seen needs a better solution that you could provide? What is the purpose? What purpose your company serve? What is it that you think that is going to appeal to those who have that problem or that need that gives you your idea for a solution, that would make them choose your offerings? And it should think about covering that history, which is the prior to questions should answer. What would be the number of locations that you're going to start with? Ideally, it would be one, right? Because we have to crawl before we walk or run, and what should be the most suitable legal structure for it. So think about that, and try to jot down those answers, so that you'll, when we make an appointment and go over your answers, then you have already done part of that foundational homework. Next slide, please. Organization and management team. Those two, the company overview and the organization and management team, go hand in hand. And in the case of Main Street Coffee Shop, it describes the founder, John Wilson, over 10 years of experience in the food and beverage industry, and also introduces Jane Wilson, his sister, in the role of general managers, so managing staff scheduling and purchasing and really day-to-day operations. But it also outlines that company's ownership structure, and what are the roles and responsibilities of each of the members of the leadership team. So your action steps: start thinking about how that ownership structure would look like, or if you already own a business, I mean, how is that working out right now? In chart it in terms of roles and responsibilities, both on the day-to-day, but as well on the overall, the strategic vision of your business. And by strategic, mean what we talked about it before. What is the purpose? I mean, where is it? Who do you want to serve? Why? How? And when? And then create a one-page bio. We call it a one-page leadership profile that very much describe who each one of the members of the leadership team, leadership and management team are, describes their experience, describes what drives them, and in essence, defines why they are the best person for the role they play in the company. Next slide, please. Products and services. So the next section of your business plan then should list what the key offerings of your business are bringing to market are. In the case of Main Street Coffee Shop, as you see, it lists the shop's key offerings as premium coffee beans, espresso drinks, tea, fresh pastries, breakfast sandwiches, and notice that it includes pricing for each product category. In the case of those of you who are just figuring out how you're going to bring your business idea together, that's an area where my colleagues, our strategic business advisors, can help you. And we're going to see later on how market research helps fuel, helps validate what that pricing structure should be. And notice also that beyond coffee and food products, they also include local artwork and coffee merchandise for sale. And also that is not the core purpose of the business. They have identified via market research and being in tune with their customers that those are also items that their customers appreciate and actually add more local live to the experience of their coffee shops. So for you, start thinking about how you would describe that full product and service mix and what pricing structure you would attach to it. And if there are any proprietary, any unique offerings that you're planning to include, it could be for restaurants, it could be recipes, it could be for designers, for fashion designers. We do a lot of work with the Fashion Lab, the apparel industry board, Fashion Lab. So those are creators that they, in many cases, those are proprietary designs. So if that's the case for you, think of those unique proprietary product or service offerings and include those also in your listing, and start thinking of how all of them will come together to bring a unique value proposition to your target market. Next slide, please. Marketing and sales. And this looks like a very full slide, and it is. Because marketing and sales is the how, right? So we just went through the what, your products and services. So the how. How are you going to get those products and services to your target market? In the case of the Main Street coffee shop, as you see, that section discusses the coffee shop competitive advantages. And those are ethically sourced beans, fresh baked goods. They have a loyalty program for frequent customers. They also have targeted promotions. And they have what they call the BYOD stations. And those are bring your own device refilling stations. So they are available right there at the shop. And it's been a hit with their customers. And there is a reason for those. It's not just out of generosity of John and his team. So they realized that those refilling stations tend to encourage their customers to stay longer at the shop. So increases what I call the dwell time. And the longer they stay, the higher the probability that not only they're going to refill the coffee, but when they refill the coffee, they're going to look at the pastries, and they are going to look at all the good eats that they offer, and they are going to spend more in other products. And in some instances, it might be some of those art products that they offer at the shop. So for you, action steps, start thinking about, and I realize that this is observational at the beginning. Start outlining what you suspect are the buying decision process for your potential customers, and what is that unique selling proposition that is going to drive that buying decision process of your potential customers towards your products or services offering. Start thinking about what marketing channels, so the how. How are you going to get the message of your products and services to those, to your customers? And start thinking about what would be the steps that you would take for lead generations, and in where, through which channels. Is it going to be through your website? Is it going to be word of mouth? Is it going to be social networks? Is it going to be search ads on other marketing channels? Are you going to distribute flyers? Are you going to post flyers on community boards? I've seen actually Main Street Coffee Shop did some of that. They did a lot of cross marketing, and that leads me to action step number 3, which is think of whether there might be some cross marketing partnership opportunities. Usually think of complementary business that offered complementary products or services. So thinking always of the target customer at the centric, is concentric to your target customer, because everything begins and ends with your customer or your consumer. Are you going to do direct outreach? Are you going to, are there other lead generation methods? Are you gonna pay for leads? And these are all areas that we can help you at the business, at the Women Business Development Center, decipher. There is an incredible wealth of free resources at the HubSpot website. And I know that the links don't work of the presentation, unfortunately. But when you get the deck, you're going to be able, I'm going to make sure that with my marketing team, that those links work of the PDF file. HubSpot is a customer client relationship management platform, and they are incredibly generous with free content. On their website, there is a template for a marketing plan that it is easy to follow, and truly, I trust will help you bring those action steps to life. Next slide, please. Market analysis. No, we are still, yeah, we should be on slide 13. There we go. That's where we should be. So the market analysis. So I mentioned before that everything begins and ends with your consumer, or should begin and end with your consumer, your customer, because without consumers, there is no business, right? Without customers, there is no business. So the market analysis is that deep look into your target audience that is going to help you size your market. It's going to help you really assess whether or not there are enough people there with the problem or the need that you have identified that your product or your service would either solve better or better address that need. In the case of a Main Street Coffee Shop, their market research just guided the framing of their product offering. So as you'll see, their market research shows data on the Seattle coffee shop density, resident and tourist spending habits. It defines their target customer segments as middle to higher income professionals, aged 25 through 44, very focused, as well as tourists. And it provides the market size data on target age group within a 10-mile radius. So they realized, particularly in a city like Seattle, where there is a coffee shop or a place where to get coffee. It might not be a shop. I mean, they have those cool walk-through. They are not drive-through, walk-through real coffee booths. That was critical. And the median household income, and also the tourist foot traffic was critical to them. And for you, the action steps that I would like you to think about is doing the market research that, as I said before, would define the potential size of your target market. Identify whatever trends there might now be going on in the specific market segment or industry sector that you are trying to enter or that you are operating in and you want to grow even bigger. Your competitive landscape assessment, who else is doing or offering what you are trying to do or offer. And as you identify that the existing market or consumer trends, I mean, what are those key trends that you could potentially capitalize on? Sometimes it's surprising to see what the market research data shows, because you might discover potential areas that you actually didn't see before. Identify those market segments. So what are your target customer personas, your ideal user profile? What are those ideal customers that you think your product or your services offerings and value proposition would resonate with? And then critical, identify 3 to 4 main competitors. So 3 to 4 other businesses that are offering something similar along the same lines of your products and services. And that is going to help you identify ways to differentiate yourself, ways for you to become more prominent in your target market customers. Resources here, these are 2 databases, both IBIS World and Statista, that although their product is a subscription to their databases, they also provide a great deal of free data. And I did not include it here, but also surprisingly enough, the Census Bureau has a very powerful business database that is targeted to the consumers. And I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by this slide, because I know that it can feel overwhelming. Because again, these are areas where we at the Women Business Development Center can help you. I mean, our analysts do this day in and day out for our clients, because we happen to be able to have among the resources that we can give you access to several of these market research databases. And it's not just about collecting the data, but it's also about finding the story that the data is telling you. Just like Main Street Coffee Shop is telling their story in terms of the coffee shop density and the resident and tourist spending habits, we can help you do the same for your business venture. Next slide, and this is the last element of a well-crafted business plan, and is the financial projections. The financial projections should include the breakdown of your key revenue streams by product category and their respective percentage of total sales, just like you see here, Main Street Coffee Shop has done. So obviously coffee and espresso, those are the main drivers of the revenue at 38%. But then we also have tea, and we have baked goods, and we have lunch items, and we have merchandise, those local artist pieces that I mentioned at the beginning. It should also provide the current year forecast with revenue. That includes cost of goods sold, operating costs, and net profit. And as you'll see, Main Street Coffee Shop includes also the forecast for the current year, factoring in the current inflation. So as we know, given the macroeconomic conditions right now, inflation is a moving target, right? And it's impacting across the supply chain costs. And so they factor in the impact of inflation. So as you see, even though their current year revenue projections are at 550,000, and that was at the end of last year, looking forward to this year. Once we factor the real value of inflation, that forecast comes down to 475,000. So it's a line item that do not necessarily need to be there when the macroeconomic conditions are more stable, but given the current macroeconomic conditions, it made sense to include it and be as transparent as possible. It should also then include an estimate of annual sales growth 2 years out. So as you see, Main Street Coffee Shop includes their projections for 2025 and 2027 of a 20% sales growth per year with expanded capacity. They're going to expand the capacity they're planning to expand the capacity of the one shop, perhaps going to a second, a smaller shop too. So those projections, that 20% sales growth factors in that expanded capacity. So action steps for you. Define what those key revenue streams would be for your business idea, either your current business, if you are operating one, or your future business, if you have an idea that you want to bring to market. And then developing those pro forma. Pro forma is just another word for your breakdown, well-crafted income statements, cash flow statements, and balance sheet. And again, do not feel like this is an impossible task, because here at the Women Business Development Center, we have our access is a dynamite access to capital team. And they not only do they provide you with access to capital in terms of loans or micro loans through Kiva, but also they help put together this financial projections, these financial plans. So we're here to help you. So don't feel overwhelmed, but start thinking about these key financial elements of your business plan. Next slide, please. That brings us to Q&A. But before we get to the questions, let's wrap it all up. And I told you at the beginning that we were going to end where the business plan should begin, which is the executive summary. So when we bring together all the elements of the Main Street Coffee Shop business plan that we went through, the executive summary for the Main Street Coffee Shop will read, Main Street Coffee Shop is a premium coffee shop located near Seattle's Pike Place Market, founded by John Wilson in 2019. As a self-funded LLC, the shop serves ethically sourced coffee, espresso drinks, tea, and fresh baked goods to tourists and local professionals. Founder John Wilson brings over 10 years of food and beverage management experience. His sister Jane manages staff and purchasing. The shop differentiates itself through its high-quality offerings, loyalty program, and targeted marketing promotions. Market research shows strong demand, with Seattle boasting 6 coffee shops per 10,000 households, and residents spending an average of $17 per week on coffee. Main Street Coffee Shop targets the over 500,000 residents aged 25 through 44 within a 10-mile radius, with a median household income of $175,000, as well as the over 5,000 daily weekend tourist visitors. Although current year projections estimate $550,000 in revenue, with coffee and espresso drinks making up 38%, followed by baked goods at 25%. Considering current inflation impacts, the shop forecasts $475,000 in sales for 2024 and projects 20% annual growth from between 2025 and 2027 as it expands its capacity. With a strong product offering, experience management, and a growing market, Main Street Coffee Shop is well positioned for success. Now, any questions, problems, difficulties? One of my favorite college professors used to end every lecture like that.
Thank you so much, Soraya. We do have some questions. However, in the interest of time and to stay on track with the agenda, I will move the slide to the next one. And if you have any questions,
all of the advice, I just saw this question pop up. So
okay.
No, there is no cost to all of the services and programming that we offer at the Women Business Development Center. The Women Business Development Center is a non-for-profit, and it's getting close to 40 years in existence in Chicago. That QR code is my scheduling. It links to my schedule, but I'm gonna drop my, if I may, I'm gonna drop the link, my scheduling link on the chat so that you all have it, because I don't know, since the other links didn't work.
Yes. Thank you so much, Soraya. So you can drop those in the chat, and we can also share it in the email.
I'm wondering if the QR
after.
code.
So everyone can have that.
There it is. That's my my scheduling link is in the chat for you all. But question, Geraldine, should I be looking at the questions, or are you going to be
Hi, Soraya. Due to
Calendar on
time,
those.
we are going to be asking
ahead.
everyone to email their questions to BACPoutreach@cityofchicago.org.
Somehow I
That's
cannot hear you.
BACPoutreach@cityofchicago.org. And I will put that email into the chat, and then Soraya, I will forward them over to you.
Oh, okay. Yeah. For some reason I couldn't hear you before, but now I can.
Yes, no problem at all. So thank you so much for a great presentation. We truly appreciate it. Fakima?
Thanks, Geraldine. Thank you everyone for attending the third session of the Remote Chicago Small Business Expo. We will be starting the keynote address now. The keynote is a conversation between BACP Commissioner Ken Meyer and keynote speaker Luke Saunders, CEO and founder of Farmers Fridge. See you soon.